1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Welcome to our live stream class. So today's topic is depression and caregiving. And I also want to welcome our online audience. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. You can ask online, and I'll do my best to address them. If for some reason we don't get to your question, feel free to let us know, and we'll get back to you with a response. I encourage all of you to take notes at home and here in the class, ask questions, and engage. We want to learn from each other, and we want to see how else we can assist you. So with that, I really am excited to see so many of you here. It's really a pleasure that we are able to connect to caregivers. You know, sometimes it's really heartbreaking when I hear caregivers that say, oh, I didn't even know that you were here, and I didn't even know that you had all these services. So I really want you to pay attention, take notes, connect with us, and we're here to serve the family caregiver, all of you. So thank you so much. Caregiving, heavy topic, right? We're going to be talking about a lot of things that might be uncomfortable, but I want you to really think about what the conversation is to help you come up with some sort of ways and care plan for you. All of you caregivers here? Yeah, all of you? Okay, great. No? But you know someone who's a caregiver?
Yes, I'm with the Legacy Corps, volunteer with the Legacy Corps.
Oh, okay. So, but you are? Legacy Corps is a sort of a volunteer.
It's a volunteer program
Yeah.
that provides respite for caregivers.
Okay, great. So you take notes then, and you can share all of this information with them as well. Okay, so this is what I'm hoping to do today in an hour. We'll see. Some of the symptoms of depression in a caregiver, to know how to respond to that depression and those symptoms. Is it something that we are all familiar with, or have some of you never experienced depression before? So we're really going to look at ourselves, all right? So it's going to be a very introspective today. So this is what depression is, okay? It is loss of pleasure. Your longer period of time. It doesn't go away quickly. Think about a movie. And if it's a tearjerker, right, a sad movie, you watch it, you feel sad, you might cry, you might leave the theater a little bit sad, but then you go on with your life and everything's fine, right? You're able to kind of move and transition from that period. But sometimes depression does not allow you of sadness and hopelessness, okay? So our feelings, we all have them. I know sometimes we're told, don't express your feelings, keep them bottled up, or we feel we need to do that because we are the caregiver, right? We are the adult. We are the parent. So we got to keep our feelings in check. But feelings are what makes us what? Robots or humans? Humans, right? So it is important to recognize our feelings when we are sad, when we are happy, when we are proud, right? Can also include anxiety, sadness, exhaustion, right? And a toll on us. Let me ask you, how do you feel when it's bright and sunny outside? Usually. Happy? And we're here in San Diego, right? So it's nice. How about when it's rainy and cold and gloomy?
Depends on what I have to do.
Happy, depends on what I have to do. But you recognize that, right? Some people dig that, right? Some people are fine. They want to cozy up, read a book. It's a rainy day schedule, right? But that's okay. But sometimes even the weather can affect how we feel. So it's really being aware of our feelings and that they are part of us. So do you have a piece of paper? Does everybody have a piece of paper? If you don't have a piece of paper, my colleagues here will give you a piece of paper and a pen. So just raise your hand and she'll give you a copy. Because I want you to help me here with a little something. And also our friends online, if you can grab a piece of paper and something to write with. I want you to think about what depression looks like in you. And you can draw. How often do we draw, right? We don't often draw. Let's draw our feelings.
Some of us can't.
That's okay. You can do stick figures. I don't care. I'm not going to grade. I'm not going to grade it. I want you to draw how you look like or what depression looks like in you. Okay? So I'll give you a couple of seconds here.
Physical appearance or behavior?
Physical appearance. Physical appearance. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for self-portraits. It can be as simple as a face, you know, sad face. Everybody good? And the reason why I'm having you do this is because it's not often that we draw as adults, right? Much less our feelings. So what do you have? What do some of you have? What did you draw?
I drew a sad face.
A sad face, okay. What else? If we had colors, I guess we could draw what? Yes.
I'm sitting down alone because I don't like to do that, but it's weird that I do the things I don't like to do typically when I'm depressed.
Huh.
And I know I'm depressed.
Ah, so self-awareness, right? You know yourself best. Okay, good. Welcome. I have these pictures here. And some of you may have drawn this, right? It's really, you know those little calendars kids have where they put the faces of how you feel today? This know what we might be looking like at that moment. Okay? So having that mental picture so that you recognize when you're feeling like that. Okay. What does depression feel like? I want you to draw that too. And our friends at home as well. What does depression feel like? It's a little bit challenging, but I want to make you think a little deeper. Feel like. Anybody want to share? Yes? No ups and downs. Okay, so just a straight line. Okay. What else? Hopefully not flatlining. Not yet. How about what? I gave you some rain, right? Earlier, I gave you an image of rain. If we had gray, you know, you maybe put some gray clouds. I don't know, right? Okay. So when you are depressed, sometimes you might feel very easily agitated, right? You're a little moody. Everything kind of bothers you. You might feel that nothing you do is good enough, especially for caregivers, right? I'm doing this elaborate dinner, or I'm making your favorite, but I'm cooking for you. You talked about hopelessness earlier. And symptoms such as headaches, maybe some stomach issues that don't go away. Think about that. Sometimes we chuck it to, oh, I must have eaten something bad. Or, oh, I didn't eat the meal earlier, so I think that's why my stomach hurts. But is it really that, or is there something going on? You know, a lot of times caregivers express pains in their back. Where do you feel pain usually when you're stressed? Shoulder, right? Neck area. And we just, oh, I must have lifted something and I just kind of tweaked my back. Or you're carrying this weight on your shoulders and it's driving the chronic pain that you're feeling. Okay? You start laughing because why? You identify with this? You sad? Okay, I love ice cream. Ice cream always makes me feel good. But what happens when we are feeling depressed or sad on a regular, maybe longer period of time, and we start doing some of these things? Right? It's going to affect your health negatively, right? You hear of people that start eating a lot. Maybe they start drinking a lot. Maybe they start taking advantage of their pain medication, right? And so you fall into this vicious cycle of making things yourself, not judging, just becoming aware. Oh, wow, I've been eating a lot more junk food. I think I'm a little stressed, right? So we can all identify. Now, I'm not saying don't eat ice cream. A cone or two. Eat the whole tub every day, right? You have an issue later. Okay, do we notice any changes in our habits, in our behavior? What do you notice when you are sad or depressed? Yes? You don't go out. You become isolated. And now for caregivers, right, you have this responsibility of caring for someone, maybe 24/7 or maybe part-time. And now all of a sudden, you are becoming isolated because you don't want to leave, because you don't. And so now you have a support network. And you don't have these people that you can rely on. So now you become even more sad because you're alone. See the vicious cycle? What else do we notice? What are some of the changes that we notice in ourselves?
Self-care.
Self-care goes out the window, right? You start not sleeping well. Wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes when you have a lot going on because you have that running list in your head and you can't go to sleep. Also have a negative effect later. Exhaustion. Caregivers do a lot. And it comes to a point where you just can't finish doing everything. It's just exhausting. Too much work. Loss of interest. Have you found yourself said not wanting to go out, saying, oh, I really would like to do this, but I'm just not in the mood? We all experience that. But again, it's the chronic, right? It's the regular behavior. Now, I don't know if you know, pictures are women, mostly, right? You're like, yeah, I noticed. Oh, you didn't notice? Okay. It's for a reason. Because women tend to provide the majority of the caregiving in our county, in our nation. And what we find is that women suffer a lot more from depression. In the U.S., about 12 million women suffer from depression. So now you add caregiving and the stigma of the word depression. I'm trying to demystify that word, right? It's okay to ask for help when you're feeling depressed, hopeless. Reach out because it's embarrassing. You're going to get judged.
There's nothing you can do.
Right? It's your feelings. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's nothing you can do about the situation.
Exactly. You're stuck, yes.
So why talk to somebody who's going to say, that's a bad situation?
Yeah.
And you
Well,
say, yes,
sorry.
and you can't change
Doesn't
it.
know.
So
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yes, it is very difficult, especially people who are not listening and maybe not offering you a solution. And that's why we're here, because we're going to find ways for self-help to find our... Some people might, sure. Some people might.
and doctors want to give you a pill for something, not pills.
Yes.
It's the situation.
Is the situation, absolutely. And that's why we're here to help, so that we can give you a different alternative. And we'll talk about this alternative. I'm not going to forget about the men. The men are there. We also have men as caregivers, right? And it's wonderful. But they also feel depression. And what is worrisome is that they're less to admit it. And if I am not depressed and you're offering services for depression, am I going to go seek those services? No, I'm not depressed. But then you have all the symptoms of depression. So we really need to kind of change that mindset, right? It's not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign of strength. It's just I think society has kind of, given us that idea that it's not good. Doctors are less likely to diagnose, and if they do, they might want to give you medication, but that's not what you want. So now what? There's a lot of self-treating. I already talked about the ice cream. But there's a lot of things. Oh, I just got to walk it off. Just walk it off. I'll be fine. And then something happens and then, you explode because you have all this pent-up aggression, right? They tend to have a smaller support network. Now, we encourage you to talk to each other. Maybe you've never met each other. Maybe you have seen each other around here, and now you can connect with each other. But we also have a list of support groups. You don't have to do this alone. I know there's a lady here who has a wonderful support group, and she encourages her friends to, really study up on the subject, and she takes information to them and shares this information with them. It's important to include ourselves in a support network, and men especially, right? So caregiving and anybody caring for someone with dementia? That's usually the case. It's very prevalent. And what we find is that when people are caring for someone with dementia, it actually adds even more stress.
Oh, sure.
It adds more stress because it's difficult, right? If you say sit over here and you don't understand what sit over here means, right? So when caring for someone with dementia, pop quiz, how likely is it that they would suffer from depression?
Are you talking about the patient?
The caregiver.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot? Anybody say a lot? A little?
100%.
100%? How about nobody?
Somebody with depression, up for dementia, but I can imagine.
It's very likely.
I can't imagine.
Why? Why do you think?
Because you're not communicating as you're used to communicating with a person who understands. And two, especially if it's a family member, all of the memories come back
Yes.
of what they were and
Yes.
now are not.
Yes.
Which is pretty depressing for you.
For you, exactly. So you become even more depressed. Absolutely. There's so many different levels that we are dealing with, right? The family dynamics. Maybe they just look at you and you're the daughter and they're like, you're not the daughter. You're some lady that comes and takes care of me. My daughter is 6, right? That's my daughter. My daughter is 6. And now you're struggling with that. Or they wander or they forget or they already ate, but they say they haven't eaten. Right? So you're adding all this level. So yes, it's very taxing on the caregiver. Another pop quiz. Does caregiving equal depression? No. Very smart group. No, it doesn't. Just because you're a caregiver doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be depressed, that we're all doomed, right? But we need to be aware when we are feeling depressed so that we can do something about it. Okay, this is the point of our talk today. And what I want to make sure that you understand, and feel free to write this down, don't suffer alone. I know as caregivers we tend to just kind of do it all ourselves because we know the person best, we know the situation best, but we don't have to do it alone. We can get resources. Right? We can connect with organizations that offer services for caregivers like us, right? We can ask our doctor to help us. What else can I do for myself, right? What other treatment options are there? What does it look like? Talk about your feelings is important. The more you talk about your feelings, the more you recognize your feelings, the more you're able to do something about it. Let me ask you, how do you know you're hungry? How do you feel it? Your stomach rumbles, right? Really simple, right? Your stomach rumbles. What else happens when you're hungry? You're irritable. You're hangry. You start maybe getting a headache, right? You start getting lightheaded, right? So those are all symptoms, and we recognize those symptoms, and then what do we do about it? Do we take medication for it? Do we go to sleep? What do we do? We eat, right? So if I am aware of what I can find a better solution to fix the problem. I know it's very simplified, I understand, but I just want to give you an example that knowing that I'm feeling blue, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling down. Sometimes we don't want to say the D word, right? But if you say the D, it's okay. I'm feeling depressed right now. I'm really sad. Let me be in that moment so that I can be aware of those feelings and then do something about those feelings. That's the key, right? Learn more about treatment options. What else can I do? You know, maybe I do want to get medication. Okay, what kind of medication is there? You know, what else can I do? A support group. Oh, where are support groups? Let me know where I can go and maybe find other people who can help me, right? So in identifying the depression, sometimes it's hard for us to identify, right? Other people identify it easier on us than ourselves. So we might ask a psychologist, a therapist, maybe we need to get referred to another healthcare provider, social worker, for example. Maybe we are a little bit more savvy now and we say, hey, you know what, I think I might be depressed. Can you do an exam? And maybe I need to know. And actually, the County of San Diego is really good about checking your mood. They do that, I think, a campaign once a year to find out how you're feeling mentally, right? Our mental health is just as important as our physical health. And guess what? It's tied, right? So if we are feeling pain, it could be that it comes from how we are mentally feeling. We tend to separate it, okay? And then, of course, schedule a medical exam. Maybe there's a medication that's causing you to feel the pain, or maybe there's something else that's going on. Okay. So what are some treatment options? Well, psychotherapy for one, right? Talk therapy, right? Talking to others helps.
Why am I feeling bad? Because I'm in an impossible situation.
Yes.
And ain't nothing going to change that.
True. But when we talk about it, when we vent, when we share our frustration, maybe there's a way somebody can say, I know where you can go. That person might not be able to help you, but that person might connect you to somewhere else to get you the help that you need. But that person's not going to know if you don't talk. And sometimes we don't want to burden people with our problems, right? I don't want to talk to you because then you're going to think I'm cuckoo. But sometimes you never know how that person might be able to help. Maybe that person went through something similar and can help you. So that's important, to talk to somebody. Again, we talked about medication. There's nothing wrong with that if that's something that works for you. We have complementary and alternative medicine. And in here, we could also explore the option of meditation, physical exercise, which is right here, going for a walk on the beach. Maybe you want to have some coffee with a friend. You know, it doesn't have to be a traditional therapy. I know when I was a caregiver, because I was a caregiver and for someone who had dementia, and it was very stressful for me, and it took me a while to identify how I was feeling. But when I talked to my therapist, and actually it was a counselor here at SCRC, she encouraged me to do the things that made me happy. And sometimes doing things that make you happy can put things into perspective and offset the things that make you sad, right? I mean, we tell kids all the time, right? Empathy, sympathy, you know, putting yourself in their shoes, right? How did that make the friend feel when you took away his toy, right? So sometimes we got to understand, step away, okay, yes, it is dementia. We can't change that. That person has dementia. It's hard. It's very challenging. How am I going to approach that situation? I can't change it. But what I can do is I can try to fill my heart, my head with more positive feelings so that when I have to hit the challenge head on, I'm coming from a better place. Right? No medication needed, no doctors needed. It's your tools for yourself. You know yourself best. Okay? So I encourage you, this could be kind of some sort of a treatment, right? Care plan for you. What else can you do for yourself? So here are some strategies that hopefully will help you. Let's be realistic, right? How many of you would love to fly to Hawaii every weekend? Nobody? No. Everybody, right? Or some place that gives you pleasure, right? Some place.
That's just escapism.
Well, but it's a way that gives you that ability to do something that is fun or pleasurable for you. Now, we have to be realistic. We can't go to Hawaii every weekend, right? We have responsibilities, right? We can't always escape. And so that's why it's good to set goals that are going to be realistic for you. Breaking things down into smaller ones. You know, I tell caregivers, nobody's going to say, well, I'll take your mom for the whole week. Don't worry about it. You know, it's really rare that somebody will say that. But they can say, okay, well, I brought extra, I went to go buy milk, and it comes in 2 gallons, so I brought you 1. And now you don't have to worry about buying milk, right? Something simple. Talk to someone. Don't be alone. Don't isolate. And it's really easy for us to do that. What happens when we are caregiving and all of a sudden our friends keep inviting us? Oh, I'm going to invite, Lucy over here, and, she's our friend, and we're going to have a party. And Lucy says, I can't. I have to take care of my grandma. And so then the next month, the friends get together, and they say, oh, we're going to get together. We're going to go to movies. Hey, Lucy, do you want to come with us? And she's going to say, I can't. I have to take care of my grandma. And so this happens a lot. So now what do you think the friends are going to do?
Stop asking.
They're going to stop asking. And so she's going to become isolated, even more so. And now she's going to feel bad because her friends are not coming around and inviting her, right? So we need to figure out a different way. Maybe the key for Lucy is, hey, friends, I'm sorry. I'm in this caregiving situation. This is my reality right now. Maybe there's a way that we can kind of middle ground. Maybe we can have some coffee at my house, and we can kind of hang out for an hour or 2, but I have to stay here and care for my grandma. Or maybe Lucy starts expanding her network among other caregivers who completely understand what she's going through, right? So that's a way to kind of change things that it works for us. Participate in activities that make you feel better, which is interesting that I even have to put it here, because how many of us would actually participate in activities that don't make us feel good, right? Nobody's that makes me feel the opposite of good, right? But sometimes we are in that situation, right? We have to wake up early. We have to drive in traffic. We have to do all of these things that we don't want to do. But then let's kind of balance that by finding other activities. So let me ask you, what other activities would you want to do that would balance the activities you don't want to do? Give me some examples so other people can hear. Sewing. Okay. Ice skating. See, that would be one of the I can't do. I would be falling every 5 seconds. But that makes me happy, right? Right? Try something new. That's great. What else?
Play a musical instrument.
Play a musical instrument. Exercise. Anybody read? Watch movies. Go for a walk. Puzzles. Yes. Yes. And maybe we do things that we haven't done in a while, right? I haven't done a puzzle in a long time. Or I've never tried ice skating. Maybe I'll take a lesson and maybe I'll like it, right? And go with a bunch of friends. And we can all fall together, right? Okay, so other strategies. We sometimes are very impatient, right, with results. We want the traffic to move faster. We want the person to react. And we want our depression to go away fast. But sometimes it's going to take a while, right? You're learning yourself what you are feeling with this situation, and it's going to be gradual. We have to be patient. After all, we're trying to improve our mood, right? It's important that if you already recognize you're depressed, you are in that state of mind where you try to get some different coping mechanisms that are positive to help you. Don't make big decisions, right? Don't say, well, that's it, I'm just going to sell my house. And then what, right? Or I'm just going to, quit my. You really have to think about a big decision like that. Maybe we acquire some input from others as well. Switching to positive thinking, there's actually research being done at UCSD here in San Diego. The benefits of positive thinking. And I know you might think that's just not going to work, it's not going to change the situation, what does it matter? Well, if we every day engage in finding positive thoughts, right? Finding positive activities, then it's really going to change our mood, which makes our caregiving situation more positive. What do I mean by that? It's early morning. It's morning, right? Today. So maybe you haven't had a lot of things going on yet, or maybe you have. Some people already kind of, put in 4 hours by the time we wake up. But let's say that you make it a point to every day engage in something positive, and that's your homework. Okay? Engage in something that's going to bring you a positive feeling. Maybe you sew. Maybe you can't sew every day because that means, getting out the sewing machine and, all of that. However, maybe there is a way that you can do something related to sewing every day. Maybe one day you look at a pattern. The next day you buy the material, the fabric. The next day you kind of put it together, and then by Friday you're sewing. So every day you're building up to that event, right? Maybe you can't ice skate every day, but then maybe there are things that you can do that's up for that. And so then the whole week you're thinking about something positive. Or you can do little positive things every day. I often tell caregivers, okay, how many of you are coffee drinkers here? I can't, it's funny because I only a cup of coffee a day, but I feel like that is that's my happy moment, right? Savoring the coffee, the different flavors, the sweetness with the bitterness, the warmth, how it feels. So almost like even mindful drinking coffee, right? Just being really aware of this coffee, that coveted cup of coffee, right? It doesn't have to be big. It can be a small cup of coffee. So if I'm going to get a good cup of coffee, I'm going to get a good cup of coffee, right? I'm not going to get like the bitter, nasty stuff, right? But that's my happy moment. So I can be in traffic, and I turn on my music, and I drink my cup of joe, and guess what? All of a sudden, I'm here. And I forgot about the traffic, right? So you can do these simple things. Okay. Switch to positive thinking. Ask for help with caregiving tasks. What else can others help you with? And others, family. They can be friends. They can be volunteers. They can be, neighbors, right? They can be other people to help you. And then get a break. Get a break. I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes we just need a little break to clear our mind. And even if it is, hey, between work and home, walk so that I kind of do some exercise and clear my brain. I'm not going to think about work. I'm not going to think about caregiving. I'm not going to think about anything but just enjoying my walk. 20 minutes. And now I'm here. Okay? So any questions? What I want to do at this moment, I want to talk to you about some of the resources. Okay? Because I want you to understand we are here to help you. Okay? That you don't have to do this alone. And what's great about the services that we do, anybody, I know I mentioned already, but how much do the services cost? Free. Okay, free keyword. So what we do is we put you in, you come to us, whether you're here, and I can definitely connect you to the services if you're not already. Our staff is here, can help answer any questions. But we will connect you with our professional staff, and they are professionals because they work with caregivers all the time, licensed clinical social workers, master's level clinicians. They understand caregiving. They understand the challenges of caregiving. They understand depression, okay? We'll work with you one-on-one to create a care plan because what's good for you might be different than her, it might be different than me, right? Our needs are different. Our caregiving situation is different. Maybe you work and this other person doesn't, or maybe they have transportation and this other person doesn't, right? So we need to look at all of your needs. We very specialized information. So some of you might be saying, well, I'm caring for someone with Parkinson's. I don't even know what that is going to look like down the road. We have this wonderful library, if you haven't already checked it out, upstairs that has books, has videos, has DVDs, has all kinds of resources that connect you, that can give you more information, even for children. You know, maybe sometimes kids are wondering, what is PTSD? What does that look like, right? What does Alzheimer's look like? For a child, that is very different, right? Short-term counseling. I mentioned the need to talk to someone, right? And we have counselors who will provide that service. So you can, in their licensed, therapists, right? So you can talk to them. Yes?
Do you have video chat for this short-term counseling? Because I know a lot of people can't get away
Sure.
from obligation.
It's something that you can set up with your family consultant and your care manager. Yes, that's something you can set up with them depending on what's best for you. I know one of the things that we do, and actually I was a client at SCRC before I started working here because I told you I was caregiving. I would meet my care manager and family consultant at the local coffee shop. We would just meet there. It was easy for her to get to, and it was easy for me to get to. Some people need to meet in different locations, and we have different locations throughout the county. So whatever is easy for you. Okay. Some people have questions about what to do if there's a need to, I don't know, sell the house and place that person that you're caring for. You know, what do I do with all my assets? Well, we partner with elder attorneys. What's that? It is. Because you don't know, right? You don't know. Yeah, it's a big problem. So then we can connect you with legal services. Right? Attorneys that work in that specialty field of elder law and can answer your questions. And we'll pay for that initial consultation. Respite care. Now, if you have, we provide respite means a break. We can give. So sometimes people say, I just want to go cut. I haven't cut my hair. Right? I want to go grocery without having to take my care receiver because then it takes twice as long. Anything that you need like that, you can just kind of family consultant, and we can provide you that respite that you need. We also have an additional program that's called Together Care. So if you don't have this already, make sure you get it. It's another respite program that we offer for family caregivers. Okay, so I just want you to take. We have a flyer in the back with a list of all the support groups, and our friends online can check the website, and you get a list of the support groups, English and Spanish throughout San Diego County. Some are big, some are small. If you're interested in a different location, let us know. And training is what we do here, our training room. You're all here in this class. Hopefully is being helpful. What I want you to invite you to do is we have a list, and I think all of you might have seen the flyer, right? Because you're here, the one that has all of the live stream classes. It kind of looks like this. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, you can go online, and it gives you a list. We do a live stream class once a month here. And the next one is July 10th. And it's actually going to be we're going to be talking about the male caregiver. So you are all invited, just because it's a male caregiver, but you are all invited to attend. And of course, bring a friend, bring a male caregiver. He will be here. So we have him every month. And you can get the list online as well. Part of what we do is we try to bring you different programming out in the community, available to you throughout the county. And the next one that we have coming up is a virtual dementia sensory experience. It's going to be here. So if you would like to know what it feels like to have different vision conditions, like glaucoma, for example, and how difficult it is for someone to maneuver medication and pill bottles, we will have an arthritis simulator. We have different simulators so that you can try them on and kind of build, the idea is to build that empathy and kind of step into their shoes, what it would feel like. So it is June 24th. We want to make sure, just RSVP so we have an idea who's coming, but feel free to invite anyone who might benefit. Resources, we understand that a lot of caregivers, a lot of you might be working full-time. And a lot of you not only are working full-time, but maybe you have children that you're caring for. So you're in that sandwich generation, right? So coming here might not always be that simple. That's why we have these classes online. But we also want to invite employers to let us know if we can come to your place of business so that we have these classes maybe during lunchtime or maybe during the day somewhere, so that you are where you work, at your place of work, and we come to you. Because guess what? If there is one caregiver at a place of work, I'm sure there are many others. And sometimes then that becomes your little support group at work, right? Oh, Linda, I didn't know that you were caring for your, father. Well, guess what? I'm caring for my mom. What about this? And is that helpful? And now you have a buddy at home, at work, right? Is a program that my colleague here in the back can talk to you more in depth about, but it is for caregivers who are caring for someone who has dementia, which we said already, it's very difficult. So sometimes we need to really understand, what is dementia, what does it look like, how do we address it, and then incorporate some self-care. So make sure that you sign up, because it is a program of commitment of 4 classes, because we really walk you through that whole process, and then hopefully at the end you have a lot of tools, a lot of ways to manage your caregiving situation. Yes, they're giving throughout the county. Some of them are here. I forget what the schedule is, but she has the schedule and she can talk to you about where specific. They move throughout San Diego County to accommodate caregivers. Info. I invite you to give us a call, get connected if you haven't already. If you're taking notes for your friends, make sure they know. If you have this brochure, more services, and our contact info is in the back. All you have to do is just give us a call. Just reside in San Diego County. It doesn't matter if the person you're caring for lives somewhere else. As long as you live in San Diego County, then we can help you. And then we are a fundraiser in unwind and enjoy some together time. It could also be an opportunity for you to meet other people who are in this situation. So any questions? Yes?
I don't have a question.
Okay.
Having been at this for a year, I've gone to any number of programs like this, as you know, and I've learned a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, having relevance to one's own response to things. That it has to do with how you respond.
Yeah.
That depression is not just by itself. It's your own personal response to stuff. And that's why I looked into a book years and years ago called Listening to Prozac. Years and years and years ago.
Wow.
I've read nothing since that is different from the fact that it's brain chemistry, and that's what the medications
Mm-hmm.
are for, is to balance
Yes.
your brain chemistry.
Yes.
It's, and it's because of various things that happen in your life and your own response to them that you become depressed because it changes
Yes.
the brain chemistry.
And that's why it's important. Again, we talked a lot about self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because if there's something that as you identify what you are going through, what you are feeling, what you look like, right, when you are sad or overwhelmed, then it's important to have those coping mechanisms in place. Now, if you're not able to go beyond that, that's why talking to your doctor is important. To let them know, because there might be some chemical imbalance that needs to be taken care of.
Well,
So
also,
it's,
if you're talking to an expert, you are more likely to pay attention to what they're saying. And so, therefore, when they say, well, you know, you can look at it a different way, and you have mentioned putting things in perspective, and I think that is looking at things in a different way.
yes,
So you begin to see the options
yes,
as opposed to, no, this is the wall, and I can't turn right or left.
yeah,
No, I can turn right or left, or I can go up or down.
yeah.
And, yeah, I don't like what it is, but it is what it is.
But it is what it is, yes.
And I do have options, and it just seems to me, you know, that what you mentioned here has been very, very important. You talk about positive thinking,
Yeah.
and that I think is, you know, couldn't be more relevant.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Get educated.
Get educated. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're here. I mean, this is, you know, this is just starting the conversation, right? You know yourself best. You know your situation best. From here, my hope is that you start thinking about this, and now you're more self-aware and find out more about it. Maybe you want to read a book. Maybe you want to talk to a doctor. Maybe you... Do we have any questions online? No? Well, thank you to our friends for joining us, and I really appreciate you looking maybe online for other classes. You can also do the same. Thank you very much. If you have any other questions, I can be here. Anybody else have a question? Was this helpful? Yeah? Get the conversation going? Yes?
Will the classes be in this
Yes.
or upstairs?
Here.
All the classes are here.
Here. Yeah, all the classes are here. Same setup. We'll have coffee, so you don't have to worry about it. Did I mention that I like coffee?